Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a dazzling trip down the red carpet of history, exploring the crowning moments of the Golden Globe Awards, from its humble beginnings all the way to the present day. It's a story filled with glamour, controversy, and some of the most unforgettable performances in cinematic history. So grab your popcorn, and let's dive into the glittering world of the Golden Globes. Our story begins in 1944. The world was at war, but a group of 8 foreign journalists in Los Angeles decided to create an award to honor the best in film. They called themselves the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, or HFPA. The very first ceremony wasn't a lavish televised event like we see today. It was an informal luncheon at the 20th Century Fox Studios. And the first ever award for Best Picture, it went to The Song of Bernadette, with Jennifer Jones winning Best Actress for her role in the film. Paul Lucas took home Best Actor for Watch on the Rhine. There were no fancy statuettes yet, just scrolls presented to the winners. It was a modest start, but the seed was planted for something much, much bigger. As Hollywood's golden age boomed in the post-war years, the Golden Globes grew with it. By the late 1940s, the iconic statuette, the Golden Globe wrapped in a film strip, was introduced. This was the era of legendary stars, and the Globes were there to honor them. Think of classics like The Best Years of Our Lives, which won Best Picture in 1947, a film that beautifully captured the struggles of veterans returning from war. Or how about Hamlet in 1949? With Laurence Olivier giving a masterclass performance, the Globes were quickly becoming a significant precursor to the Oscars, a place where stars could let their hair down and celebrate. The 1950s brought television into the mix, and the Globes began to gain a wider audience. The awards started recognizing television achievements in 1956, a visionary move that acknowledged the growing power of the small screen. This was the decade of grand epics and charismatic stars. Who could forget the sweep of Ben-Hur in 1960, which won Best Picture Drama? The Globes honored icons like Audrey Hepburn for Roman Holiday, Grace Kelly for The Country Girl, and Marlon Brando for On the Waterfront. The ceremonies became star-studded events, solidifying their place in the annual award season calendar. The Cecil B DeMille Award was also introduced, first given to the man himself in 1952, to honor outstanding contributions to the world of entertainment. The 1960s were a time of massive cultural and social change, and cinema reflected that. The Globes recognized groundbreaking films that challenged conventions. From the epic Lawrence of Arabia to the musical masterpiece The Sound of Music, the awards celebrated a diverse range of genres. This decade also saw the introduction of separate categories for drama and musical or comedy, which has been a defining feature of the Globes ever since. It allowed more films and performances to be recognized, like Julie Andrews winning for Mary Poppins and Rex Harrison for My Fair Lady. It was a decade of transition, setting the stage for the gritty, director-driven cinema of the 1970s. The 1970s, often called the New Hollywood era, was a golden age for auteur directors. The Globes were right there, honoring some of the most iconic films ever made. We're talking about The Godfather, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Apocalypse Now. These weren't just movies, they were cultural events. Jack Nicholson became a Globes favorite, winning for his unforgettable roles. The television side also flourished, with groundbreaking shows like All in the Family and Maze Age dominating the awards. The Globes had truly come into their own as a major televised spectacle, known for its fun, freewheeling atmosphere compared to the more formal Oscars. The 80s were all about blockbusters, big hair, and even bigger shoulder pads. Films like E.T. the Extraterrestrial captured the hearts of audiences and Globes voters alike. Meryl Streep began her incredible run of nominations and wins, solidifying her status as one of the greatest actors of all time, with wins for films like Sophie's Choice. The Globes also celebrated pop culture phenomena, honoring stars like Tom Cruise for Top Gun. On the TV side, shows like Cheers and The Golden Girls became perennial winners, proving the HFPA had its finger on the pulse of what America was watching. The 1990s saw the rise of independent cinema, and the Globes were quick to embrace it. Quentin Tarantino burst onto the scene with Pulp Fiction, winning for Best Screenplay. This was the decade of Forrest Gump, Schindler's List, and Titanic, 3 films that defined an era and were all crowned Best Picture Drama by the Globes. Julia Roberts became America's sweetheart with her win for Pretty Woman. The 90s were a mix of indie darlings and epic blockbusters, and the Globes celebrated them both, reflecting the eclectic tastes of the decade. As we enter the new millennium, the landscape of film and television continued to evolve. The 2000s gave us Peter Jackson's monumental The Lord of the Rings trilogy, with The Return of the King winning big. It was also the decade that saw the rise of premium cable, with The Sopranos and Sex and the City becoming critical and awards darlings, racking up Golden Globes year after year. The line between film and television began to blur, with major movie stars transitioning to TV, a trend the Globes were perfectly positioned to celebrate. The 2010s were defined by the streaming revolution. Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu became major players, producing their own award-worthy content. Shows like The Crown and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel became Globe's powerhouses. The HFPA also honored films that pushed creative boundaries, like the silent black and white film The Artist and the daring Moonlight. This decade also saw the Globes face increased scrutiny and calls for reform regarding the diversity of its voting body, the HFPA. It was a period of immense change, both in the content being honored and in the industry's conversation about representation and inclusion. Which brings us to the 2020s. This decade began with unprecedented challenges, but also with a push for meaningful change. We saw Chloé Zhao make history with Nomadland, becoming the first woman of Asian descent to win Best Director. The Globes honored groundbreaking television like Succession and Ted Lasso. Following significant controversy, the Golden Globes underwent a major transformation, being acquired by a private entity and expanding its voting body to be more diverse and international. The 2024 ceremony marked a new chapter, with films like Oppenheimer and Poor Things taking home the top prizes, signaling a fresh start for the storied awards show. Looking ahead to 2025 and beyond, the Golden Globes are poised to continue their legacy. As the entertainment industry keeps evolving with new technologies and new voices, the Globes will be there to shine a spotlight on the stories that move us, challenge us, and bring us together. From a small luncheon in 1944 to a global television event, the story of the Golden Globes is a reflection of the story of Hollywood itself, a tale of art, commerce, and the enduring magic of the movies. What are some of your favorite Golden Globe winning moments or movies? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching this journey through cinematic history. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. See you next time.